Welcome to season 9 of the Find Your Way podcast. Today is going to be a 2025 recap. I'm naming and claiming the year of the dragon awakening for 2025. I know that the Chinese astrology was the dragon last year, and this is the year of the snake. Last year prepped me for the chaos that I ensued this year. It was both the greatest and worst year of my life. So much duality. The biggest theme was highs and lows, highs and lows, highs and lows. So yesterday I went through my 4x4 method, which you will learn about if you join the Empress Sanctuary, and it is my manifestation blueprint. I do a ceremony for every astro season, every solstice, and this is something that we weave inside of my community. And it's a beautiful thing to look backwards, to see how far you've come, to celebrate, to realize what you actually went through. Because so often we're like, man, I didn't have a good year. Man, this year sucked. Man, this quarter sucked. But then you look back at the actual data, and a lot of times, at least for me, I'm like, oh shit, I had an amazing year. I did way more than I thought I did. And so the 4x4 method, I basically have a calendar. My calendar is my diary, and I write a little note from that day every single day. So I went through from January until now to find the highlights. And I want to share this with you with the intention that it serves you, that it benefits you, that it supports you on your journey. And take what resonates, leave the rest. This is my experience, my lived transmission of life. And you may not agree with everything that I went through. You may not agree with everything that I say, and that's totally fine. Take what resonates, leave the rest. So before January, I hit burnout in a massive way. I was working with a company that started off a dream manifestation. I manifested this job. I was writing. I worked for this company on my manifestation list for a couple of years. And then boom, I got the opportunity to work for that company. And it was an amazing experience. I'm so grateful for everything that I got to experience. I got to travel. I got to go to Canada and speak on stage in front of 100 hairstylists. I had so many opportunities. It was such a beautiful experience. And towards the end, it was really an interesting, well, the last year was probably the most interesting because the woman that I worked for is a 5-1, and the line 5 in human design is a karmic mirror. And I was being triggered left and right, left and right. And it got to the point where it didn't feel like 100% in alignment. And honestly, it got to the point where the money was running out. I made really, really, really good money with that company, and it was the best job I've ever had. And then the money was drying up. And so it was a very clear sign from the universe to quit. And I quit right before the new year. I put in my resignation. And I remember I was at my mom's at Christmas, and I was just could barely move. I was just so depressed, and my body hurt, and I was burnt out. And then I was stressed out because my business was not sustainable at that time. I was barely making it between the inflow from the company and what I was receiving in my own business. But I'm cocky as fuck and trying to make this work for years. I'm going to keep doing it. And I've made a lot of decisions this year that probably were irresponsible and not logical, but a big part of my journey is trusting and surrendering. So that's how I started out the new year. And I had this delusional idea that as soon as I quit this out of alignment situation that I'm in, because I was frustrated as fuck as a manifesting generator in human design. And so I was like, as soon as the frustration is gone, then instantly all of the abundance and everything will flow in. And that was not true. So around this time in January, I had a Kundalini activation session with a magical woman, Ella, and I will drop her in the show notes. Go check her out. I definitely feel like that session, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be in the session, but damn, that definitely triggered a Kundalini awakening, which I am now dubbing a dragon awakening. And I remember midway through the year, I was talking to ChatGPT, which I don't really like doing, to be honest. I'm not a huge fan of ChatGPT anymore, but I was like, here's all my symptoms. Here's what I'm going through. Around that time, I was like, I think I'm going insane. Like, I'll get into it later, but I put all my symptoms in. It was like, yeah, you're having a Kundalini awakening for sure. Every single bullet point, I was like, yep, 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 yep. Life's falling apart, psychosis, this, that, and the other thing. Check. So thank you, Ella, for opening the doors to my Kundalini awakening. So I was doing some massive masculine healing. That is a big trend. So I'm not really going to get into all of the details, but working with the masculine was huge. So before I continue, this 2025 was a year 9. And I learned the other day that it's not just completion for 2025, it's completion from the past 9 years. The last 1 year that we had was in 2017. And that's when I started my healing journey. That's when I entered into a relationship that was very karmic and very magical and activating. And for half the time, I was healing in this relationship. And then after the breakup and the initiation during a full moon eclipse in May of 2021, then it entered into my solo healing journey and process. And I've dove to the depths in the last 9 years that I've been on my healing journey. So when I learned that, I was like, oh, damn, no wonder I went through all this craziness, because we're done with that chapter. We are closing that deep fucking 9-year healing chapter. We're into the new year, into the one, into let's reap the rewards of the harvest for all the fucking work that we've done for the past 9 years. So I want you to think about what was starting in your life. What was the theme in your life in 2017? Because maybe you can connect some dots. So masculine healing was huge, and I'll dive into it, but it just learning to let go of anxious attachment styles and how I viewed men, and healing my own inner masculine. That has been a focus of mine. Every single ayahuasca sit, every single medicine sit, love and money have been the main focuses. And I am proud and happy to share that I have passed level 1 and I've entered into level 2. My guides told me that the other day. Level 2 is sacred union within, and then sacred union without. So I'm done with my chapter is closed, book is closed for healing on my own, and I'm transitioning into sacred union within, and therefore sacred union without. Lots of masculine healing, lots of freaking parts work. So in January, I was trying to figure out, how am I going to make money? How am I going to support myself? How am I going to be fully resourced through my business? Because I have no other options here unless I go get a job, which I do not want to do. So an idea dropped in to do in-person sessions. I'm a former hairstylist of over 12 years, and I love working with people one-on-one. I've been virtual since 2021, and the idea of being in aura with people, in person with people, is amazing. And so I had this download to work in person, and I found a place that had like a massage room for rent, and I went to look at it, and it was in kind of a sketchy area. It wasn't really that pretty, but it was all I could afford at the time. And so I was in the HEB shopping parking lot, and I had a meltdown, and I was just bawling my eyes out. And I'm like, I am so fucking over this shit. Like, I'm depressed, I'm stressed, I am in survival. Like, what the actual fuck? And after that meltdown, the breakthrough comes after the breakdown. After I broke down, I had a download to connect with my friends Hannah and Darcy from Flow Wellness, and they are beautiful splenic projectors who are masseuses, and they are body workers, and they are amazing at what they do. I'll link them in the show notes. So I reached out to them, and I was like, hey, here's my idea. I love your space. Can I rent your space? And they were amazing. They know human design, and they're like, yeah, girl, come try it out. If you don't like it, you do you, like, just flow with your Manny Gen self. And I was like, okay. So we set a date, we locked it in, and I opened up my books and I was talking about it. And so then in February, I opened my human design ATX portal. So as a manifesting generator, I go really fast. We go really fast when we get the juice. And oftentimes we go so fast that we skip steps. So a lot of the things that I did this year felt like failures because I didn't go through with them completely, but it was setting the stage for where I am now. Hindsight's 2020. It's so freaking true. And so I opened the portal for Human Design ATX, which is the currently the in-person sector of my business, if you will. And then I hosted my first in-person women's circle at my house, and it was sold out, and it was absolutely amazing. And then I booked 2 one-on-one sessions from that, and they were both on the same day, and they were amazing sessions. But as soon as I was done, I was like, nope, that is not for me. I don't want to do this. I really am over one-on-one work. I want to work with groups. My human design is made for group work. And so one-on-one does not satisfy me. And so I immediately returned the key, and I was like, thank you. It's a hell no for me. And, but that's sowed the seeds, if you will, planted the seeds for what was to come. So then in March, I was unraveling. I was going through a lot. I was also 39 at the time. And so I was leaving another decade, about to enter into a new decade. And then I know a lot of things spiritually happen to you when you're 39, but I can't remember them all. So this was a year of massive unraveling. And this was when I got my first 10K loan. So I've basically been living on loans all year long and barely trickling in money, currency in my business. And so I got my 10K loan, and that softened me because I had some support for at least a little while. Then around that time, into probably mid-March, I started my Midas Touch portal. So I knew that if I was going to achieve what I wanted to achieve, I had to put the blinders on and pull back all of my energy and hyper focus on myself. So I decided to enter into a 90-day Midas Touch portal container with myself. And I let all of my friends know, hey, I'm going to be MIA for 90 days. I had multiple people that I was talking to every single day, and I pulled back my energy. And there was a couple of people that I didn't even tell. And it wasn't really on purpose, but it was very interesting to notice and become aware of how much I was initiating in a lot of friendships. And there was a couple of people that was like 3 weeks, a month after not hearing from me for a while. They're like, oh, hey, what's going on? And I was like, interesting. And so I just pulled back all of my energy and focused on me. And then in April, I entered into a debt consolidation program. This was huge. I've carried massive debt the majority of my life. It's a very familiar thing for me. And I was almost out of debt in 2018. That was when I was thriving. I was making more money than I ever made behind the chair in my life. And it was awesome. And I was almost close, so close to paying off my debt. And then my ex, he had a bunch of financial issues, and I started paying for him, and I paid for like over 30K of him that year. And so I had like 100K worth of credit on all my credit cards. And so I just went straight back into debt. And so I finally said, I'm going to focus on this and change. And that's a big deal because my loop has always been, okay, I'll pay off, pay off, pay off, pay off. But then when I get in financial issues, then I run them up again. And when you go into debt consolidation, they close all the cards. So I had no cards, and I was like, this is scary as fuck, but here we go. So then my dad reached out for support with his taxes, and I was asking him questions, and he was getting really frustrated, and he kind of threw a little tantrum. And then he was like, I don't know how to figure this out. I just give up. Don't worry about it. I'll figure it out myself. And I was like, fucking hell, Dad. That is a huge pattern that I've had. As soon as it gets hard, as soon as it gets challenging, as soon as it gets frustrating, as soon as it gets, not comfortable, I will give the fuck up. I'm like, oh my God, I got that from my dad. So I was able to heal that, thank God. And then a man who definitely broke my heart, not on purpose, but like my heart cracked open with him back in 2014 or no 2024. I was dating this guy, and it was like a month, and I've been single for 4+ years, and this was the first guy that I was actually very interested in. And it was slow, and it was steady, and it was just everything that I was looking for. And then we did a mushroom journey on the 8/8 portal, and my theory is that cracked us both wide open. And a week later, he's like, hey, I can't do this anymore. And I fell to the floor crying. Like, it broke my heart. And then it made me feel still really fucked with me, because I thought, is my intuition off? Like, what the fuck? I finally like opened my heart to believe that that maybe this is the relationship that I've been desiring, only to have it, rejection, abandonment, all the fucking things. So I took a lot from August, mid-August to the end of the year through even further. I took a lot of time to unravel and heal that shit. And so then this dude breadcrumbed me. He liked something in I didn't even know he was in my Instagram channel. And I immediately DM'd him, and then he just ghosted me. And I was like, oh, motherfucker. Okay, cool. And so that helped me close that loop, thank God. And around this time, I had the best launch ever with Embody Your Design. I had 23 people inside. And the interesting thing about this is, publicly, I did not share that I think 19 of those people were free. So I was planning on running that program over and over. So I was like, I just want a lot of people on Zoom live. So I was just throwing it out like candy left and right. And I had expectations that I did not communicate, that weren't met. And then it frustrated the hell out of me, and it pissed me off. And so that was very interesting to navigate. And then in May, I received a one-on-one paid in full biz soulmate, and she saved my life this year. Like, if I didn't meet her, I don't know what the fuck I would have done. And it was a beautiful, beautiful container that we got to go through. And because of that, I tripled my income in 30 days with my Midas Touch activation. I was listening to it every single day, tripled my income because of the one-on-one client, Biz Soulmate. And I kind of hit an upper limit. I kind of got cocky. I kind of got like, I slowed momentum. And then I had my 7th ayahuasca sit, and it was a beautiful, magical experience. And it felt very much like a completion. Like, okay, I think I'm done, maybe forever. I don't know. But it was a beautiful experience. And for the first time, since I had been sitting with Aya, I actually asked for help. I was witnessed in my pain and in my purging, and it was just such a magical experience. And then a week later, I went to Illfest, a 3-day bass music festival. And man, I cracked open on the dance floor every single day. I'm just having Kundalini energy flowing through me, and I'm orgasming on the dance floor, energetic orgasms on the dance floor. And I'm dancing in I'm very purposeful when I go out to these events and shows, is what am I dancing in? What am I abundancing in? What am I energetically connecting to on the dance floor? I walked like 65 miles over the 3 days. It was so magical. And right after that, my HRV skyrocketed. The abundance journey dropped in because I got approved for another 10K loan, and I didn't think I would get it. And then it dropped in, and then the abundance journey was created. And this is where I hit my 60 days of my Midas Touch portal. So then in June, I had a couple of romance novel experiences, back-to-back weekends. So I was on a high. This is where I started the upward trajectory. Ayahuasca, Illfest, getting the loan, having money flow into my account, people getting excited about the abundance journey. People were like, oh my God, you are on another level. They're paying attention to the shift in my energy. I have 2 romance novels back-to-back. And by the way, when I say that, I haven't had sex in like 3 years. And I don't even go further than making out most of the time, because my body is very particular with who it allows into my body or on my body or whatever. You get the point. And so when I say romance novel experiences, it's just the synchronicity of it. I saw this guy at a biohacking event, and then 3 weeks later I see him at the place that I was at. And so I was like, hey, what's up? And then we spend all day together, and we have passionate making out, and it was just so beautiful. And your girl is feral as fuck most days, and I live a very orgasmic life by myself, but it's very nice to make out. I love making out so much. And so every time I go out, I'm like, I'm so open and available for a makeout session if it aligns. And there's only been 2 this year, I'm pretty sure. My body's been very particular this year, prepping for the final destination. I have a joke with my friends. Every single man that comes into my life is either a lesson, a snack, or the final destination. And so far, it's been many, many, many lessons, a couple of snacks, and no final destination yet. So let's see where we at. Yeah, I got back on Hinge, and I had a lot of healing from that. And then I started working with the vibration plate this was in June. So I'm on my vibration plate every single day. I stand on it for 5 minutes, I squat on it for 5 minutes, and sometimes I do another 10 minutes and I just, free flow with it. This has been something that I feel like has exponentially impacted my life. Highly suggest a vibration plate. Supposedly it's like 10 minutes on high is like, I don't know, 30 minutes of running or swimming or something like that. But the main thing for me is the lymphatic movement and the shaking, because with nervous system regulation, you shake out your trauma. So if I'm just shaking on a vibration plate every day, who knows how much trauma I release. And I feel like that's been very supportive. And at some point, I'm going to track my aura numbers and actually see if I can gather some data. But that's an experiment for another day. I had a huge download that I was stuck in waiting mode. This is really big. If you're wanting and waiting for something, you're going to perpetually be stuck in that, because it's really about embodying it now, feeling it now, focusing on what you have now. Don't focus on what you want, focus on what you have. My whole life has been spent waiting. And I really got that from my mom, because my mom was always like, this year we're going to get our dream home. This year we're going to get our dream home. This year this is going to happen. This year this is going to happen. It never fucking happened, because she was always waiting and wanting versus focusing on what you have. So that was huge. Then in July, I met two guys at a coffee and chill event, and they showed me that I have changed, that I had activated more secure masculine inside of myself, that my anxious attachment style was getting better, because what you attract is a reflection of your inner work. And these men were fine specimens of the masculine. Oh my God, it was so beautiful to just witness and be in their presence and get a little dose of masculine energy. And then I received and welcomed in 7 members of my Abundance Journey membership. Oh yeah, July was when I had some friend breakups. So I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I may do another episode talking about this in full detail, but when I started my Midas Touch portal in March, April, I pulled back my energy and I realized that I didn't really miss a lot of the friends that I had. And it's a weird thing to say because they're beautiful women. And also, I realized I don't have 100% energy for this. And it's not like they did anything wrong or whatever. They're beautiful women, but I just realized I don't want to be friends anymore after this container. And I was like, what do I do? Do I just ghost? Do I say something? And I said, I'm just going to wait to respond. And so I went to there's 2 women in particular that I let go of with this. They were both kind of woven into the same experience. And I went to one of their birthday parties, and when they were hugging me as I was leaving, they're like, oh my God, I've missed you so much. And in my mind, I was like, I really haven't missed you. And it's so fucked up. Like, it's a fucking shitty feeling to feel that, but it was true. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And then another one who doesn't live here, she booked a coffee chat with me. As soon as my body saw that, I was like, no. Like, it was very much like, no, I've got to cut this off. And my body took over, and I wrote a decent message. I didn't sugarcoat anything. I just spoke my truth. I didn't use ChatGPT. I was mainly about, this is me and my decision and what I'm doing. You shouldn't text people when you're breaking up with them. That's the biggest lesson that I've learned from this. And so I sent it off, and then I get a novel back from one of them, and I went to a shame spiral. I felt so terrible with all the things that she said. And it was coming from a reaction place, I could tell, but still it hurt. And then the other girl, she was very sweet. She's like, I'm gutted, but you do you. And I immediately sent her a voice note, and I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. I'm so sorry. I should have sent you a voice note. I communicate mainly in voice notes, but I know why my body did this. And so communicated with her, and then that opened the floodgates. And then she said a bunch of not really nice things. And the interesting thing, they're both splenic projectors. And they both said, oh, I knew this was coming. And in my mind, I'm like, if you knew this was coming, why didn't you do something? Not that there could have been anything to do, but it's just interesting to me when I hear that feedback of, okay, you knew this was coming, but why are you reacting so strongly if you knew it was coming? So Then I was just like, oh my God, I'm getting it from both sides. So I just threw my phone away. And then I looked at it later and it was really beautiful because she sent me a message and she's like, normally I would just leave it at that and just cut you out of my life, but I want to keep this door open. I want to do things different. She sent me a beautiful, sweet message, and I sent her a message back, and I was crying. I was like, this is not easy for me, but I'm following my body. And this isn't the end forever. I left it open. If the universe, if God's first universe wants us to be in each other's lives, it will happen. But for now, I'm closing this door and I'm setting a boundary. And we ended it very beautifully. And I feel like she got to work through a really big sister wound with that by keeping her heart open. And the other girl, I just sent her a note and I was like, voice note, hey, if I should have sent you a voice note, I apologize. If I would have done that, this is what I would have said. And I just cut that off really quickly. And what I learned is that you can do no wrong. I felt so fucking bad in the first place. Yeah, I shouldn't have sent a text message. You should voice message people if you're going to break up with long-term friendships that and I'm very glad that that happened because a lot of healing was facilitated. And I realized both of them are splenic projectors. My mom's a splenic projector. Growing up, I felt like I had to tiptoe around and like soften things up, sugarcoat the truth. Because if I said the full truth, my mom would freak out and then she'd be emotional, like these two were. And then I'd feel like, oh God, well, now I have to make you feel better. But I just really wanted to speak my truth. And so I spoke my truth, I didn't sugarcoat it. And I think that people would rather be ghosted, and I would honestly rather the truth, and even if it hurts. So that was a really wild experience. And then towards the end of July, this is when the shit show started. I had a rabies scare because my cat brought a bat into my house and she had it in her mouth, and I called animal control. They got the bat. They're like, well, we have to euthanize it and test it for rabies, and you need to go, is she up to date on her rabies shot? I was like, no. And they're like, you have to go get a shot like today. It's legally, you have to get one. And so I brought her in. She hates the vet. She turns into Satan, and it was very traumatic. And the vet sent me home with they were basically like, if she bites or scratches any of us or you, we legally have to put her down. So I'm like sobbing on my way there, on my way home, like, and then she attacked me the night before. So I'm like, well, if you got rabies, I got rabies. And it was just this wild experience. And I had a photo shoot the next day, and thank God I did it because it was the best photo shoot ever. I will drop Morgan in the details below. She's absolutely amazing. If you're in Austin, go check her out. And yeah, there was just like, it was the downward spiral. So then August, Leo season comes in. I'm having money pressures. I got denied for a loan, and then I got approved for another one. So this was a year of loans. And in my birthday week, I had highs and lows, highs and lows, highs and lows. It started out amazing, and I was like getting attention from guys, and things were happening, and someone sporadically threw me a birthday party, but I'm sobbing on the way there, and I am having panic attacks the day before my birthday because I'm turning 40. And my life is nowhere near what I thought it would be. I felt like I was at the bottom of the motherfucking barrel. I was like, well, this is not fun. Um, and let me see. I was taking action. I was like trying to figure out, how do I make money? How do I make money? How do I make money? I pivoted my business to the hair world for a couple of weeks, and then I was focusing on in-person stuff. And anyone following me is probably like, what the fuck is this girl doing? And then it was interesting because on my calendar, I was like, okay, I'm going to go all in on the Empress Sanctuary and salon offers. Did I go all in on them? No, because I didn't have the juice. It wasn't really in alignment, but it was pushing me closer to where I was supposed to be. Having meltdowns left and right. On August 29th, I had an ego death. I've never experienced this before. That was right before that. I was like, I think I might need to admit myself into an insane asylum. Like my brain was just exploding. And I was like, am I in spiritual psychosis? Like, am I fucked up? Like, what's real? What's not real? And I got called to read Gene Key 25, which is a money code for me. And it is my, what is it? I think it's my moon. I can't remember what the placement, my moon or my Venus. I can't remember the placement, but I got called to read it. The shadow is constriction. That's what I felt. I felt like a boa constrictor was tightening around my body and squeezing, 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 squeezing until I couldn't breathe anymore. And it's the year of the snake. And so the gift is acceptance. Accept where you're at. So I sat on my ceremony mat and I'm sobbing. I'm like, okay, I accept that I'm 40, single, childless, no relationship. I accept the fact that I'm in massive fucking debt. I accept the fact that I have barely made money in my business. I accept the fact that I've probably been irresponsible and illogical as fuck. I accept my body. I accept where I'm at. And ego exploded. Spaciousness dropped into my body. I went down to the lake and I saw things clearer. And since then, it's been better. But that was like the pinnacle or maybe the depths. And then I've been slowly starting to go up, it feels like. So that was when also I had to reach out for help. I asked my sister to pay my rent. And as soon as I asked for help and I got it, I had $500 drop into my business. And then I had some, this is eclipse season. So I had a guy drop in. Anytime a guy drops in eclipse season, he's either a loop that you're completing or maybe a new eclipse gift, but he came in on the first eclipses. So I got to close a real big loop with him. And then another loop with another karmic dude. And then I brokered a deal. So I reached out to my one-on-one client, Biz Soulmate, and I was like, look, this is where I'm at. Like, I don't have any other fucking options. I think I was negative in my bank account when I was having this meeting with her, and I just laid it out on the floor. And I was like, here's what's going on. Like, if it works for you, amazing. And I kind of let her know where I was, but not actually where I was. And it was my last hope. And she said fucking yes. And I'm so grateful because once again, I had support monetarily. And then another dude came in that unraveled a lot of stuff. In October, I was negative in my bank account again, and then money dropped in. I let go of more friendships. I was working on salon offers. I met my friend Marie Coveley. I will drop her in the details below. She's an amazing woman. She is a Hermetic principles teacher. She's very connected to Egyptian archetypes, and we activated a lot within we did a trade, and I'm very grateful for her. And then I had some more men enter my life, more opportunities, and I'm just flowing and surrendering and following my body. And then I launched my Empress Sanctuary, and I received 9 Empresses, and it felt like, okay, instead of going up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, I went to the depths with that ego death, and then I started coming up slowly and securely in Taurus vibes, which is Empress vibes, which is very much part of my lesson that I have been learning. I posted about a woman circle I was going to do at my house. My new friend, Nikki from the Conscious Kitchen ATX, I will link them below. Go follow them if you're in Austin. She reached out to me and said, hey, this is cool. This is a cool event hosted at my space. So I went and I met her. It was beautiful and perfect. Sold out the next event, sold out the following one. And it just was easy and effortless. And so starting to gain that momentum. And then Mercury RX took me to the depths in Scorpio, and so I'm still navigating a bunch of shit as things are. It's the massive polarity. And then I wrapped up. Sagittarius season was the best fucking season of the year. Every single day there was something. I started reading the God Conversations with God, Home with God, by Neil Diamond Walsh. I'll drop it in the show notes. And it shifted my whole entire life. It really anchored in this belief: I can do no wrong. I'm no longer afraid of death. I'm no longer afraid of living. And that really added to a lot of the God healing that I've been doing for years. And then I met a man, Ronnie Landis, and we started doing nervous system regulation work. And I'm going to do a whole podcast episode on this next, because meeting him has been the best thing that has happened to me all year. And the work that he does, the medicine that he holds and carries in his physical body is absolutely insane. And so I'm going to tell the whole story in the next episode, but that's kind of the wrap up of this year. It's been brutal as fuck. And also in hindsight, I'm so grateful for it all. I'm so grateful for who I am, because this has been the year of activating my inner masculine. And the masculine grows through challenge. The masculine grows through uncomfortability. And innate traits of the masculine are self-belief, self-confidence, self-worth. Those three things have skyrocketed for me because of what I've went through this year. Like, I am on another fucking level because of all of the things, especially the nervous system portal that I've been in has just been, oh my God, cracking me wide open. And so this is the thing. When you look in hindsight, when I did this deep dive yesterday, I was like, oh shit, this is wild. This is amazing. Like, this is the coolest experience ever. And it's just, oh, the other thing I did was I got the packing your home download. So I got to download You're Moving, and I don't know where I'm moving, but I got the download that I'm moving. And then I cleared out every single man. I passed all these freaking tests with masculine men, and I cleared them all out. I deleted every single man in my phone that I'm not 100% yes for. I stopped returning phone calls to people. I was just like, fuck this all. Like, I want my divine partner, and I will get rid of everything. I remove people from Instagram, remove people from Facebook, remove people from my phone, just cleansing out anything and everything that is no longer for me. And then yeah, another realization that I've had recently is that not seeing results fast enough. I'll do something and then I'll get egoic. I'm like, I didn't see results after posting one reel and talking about it on one story. And so then I historically have gone to do something else. So that's been a big lesson this year. But yeah, I hope that you got something from that. If you're still listening, thank you. I love you. And if anything resonated with you, DM me. I love conversations. Conversations are my favorite. DM me on Instagram, connect with me, and let me know if anything resonated. And I'll see you in the next episode.